How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode number 4 of Fear the Walking Dead, my spoilers review. I'm going to jump right into this one and say, once again, 7.5. All 4 shows now, all 4 episodes, have been consistent for me. I give them 7.5. That means I'm energetic, still looking forward to the next one. You're going to hear this recap every time I do a show. I'll start off with my rating, and then I'll move on to the spoilers. Again, it is a spoilers review, so you're going to hear things about the plot of the episode. If you have not seen the episode, I recommend shutting out the video, saving for later. If you don't mind being spoiled, well, hop on board. Let's talk about the show. So now we have military involvement, and the show has completely taken a direction I didn't really think it would. I I thought the military coming in might delay the trip to the the desert a little bit, and I have a feeling we're gonna probably ride out the rest of the season here at the house with military involvement. Which it's not a bad thing, I don't think. I think it's going to be interesting to see how they cope with this situation. My girlfriend and I were actually speculating a couple different things here when we finished up the episode. We thought, well, okay, so we're going to have the military that they didn't want to deal with things, but they had to have some people alive. So they killed everybody in the surrounding area. They established a quarantine zone so they can look like heroes. Kind of leaning towards that way, and the way it's starting to seem is pretty much like that. We're probably going to end up seeing Travis, you know, him and the family step up and get the F out of Dodge here. Um, what do we actually see through this episode? All right, so we get to see that Travis is stepping up as a community leader. He is the nice guy. He's the personable guy that everybody loves to talk to. However, like we see with any guy or gal in this situation, that can be strenuous on the family because family also looks up to people like that who who are strong and nurturing and there. But if they're giving that kind of love and support elsewhere, if that attention is going elsewhere, people do tend to get jealous or tend to get a little upset that somebody else is getting that attention. So we're now 9 days after seeing the events of episode 3. So sit and think about a week. Well, we waited a week for this next episode. Think about how that week transpired. Everything you went through, everything that happened. Well, for some people, a week can go by quick, and for others, it could take forever. If you have this new situation where you have military coming in, they're giving you some rations, they're helping you out, but then they're saying you can't go anywhere, you're quarantined to your house and your neighborhood. Life is now flipped upside down. Not only is this virus going around and people are acting weird and getting shot because of it, but you now cannot live and operate your normal routine. And that's what I like about this show. It is showing that everybody's not sure if this is just going to be like going through a hurricane or a really bad earthquake, a natural disaster. I like this because the characters still have that feeling of there's still hope. There's still a chance that society isn't really that bad off because of all of this. So, um, we, of course, as the audience, know, and this is a spoiler for The Walking Dead. If you haven't seen the main show, I recommend stopping right now. But as we've seen in 5 seasons of The Walking Dead, shit gets real. I mean, society crumbles, and they can't get a hold of anybody. They can't, maintain or establish any other contact. There's no power. There's no cell phones. There's no contact, and everybody's basically down to their tribes, their groups, their communities. And so right now what we're seeing the glimmer of hope in these folks' eyes that while their surrounding neighborhood, their district, maybe they're part of the town of LA, is under quarantine and crap has happened. Maybe they even assume the entirety of Los Angeles County is at a loss. I'm pretty sure that these characters still think that the rest of the world, the rest of the United States, is fine. They're just dealing with it in their area, and they don't realize what's going on in Atlanta, like we see on The Walking Dead, let alone everywhere else in the world. So it's really interesting. Think about that for a moment. Think about people are probably just feel like they're going through a natural disaster, that they'll get through it. If they could just survive now, it'll be just fine in another month or two, and life will be back to the way it was, or will rebuild. But after 5 years of going through shit on The Walking Dead, Rick and them, when they got to that community up near Washington D.C., they aren't trying to get back to that old life. They think that that's all gone. So that kind of community is kind of Rick wants to do more than just smack someone upside the head and say, "Are you nuts?" Um, so yeah, we end up seeing the military come in, and we see everybody trying to adjust a little bit. Madison, of course, naturally wants to eliminate the remains of their neighbor on the back patio wall. Ew. And a way to cope with that is just trying to paint over whatever happened there, scrub it all off and paint over it. We see that Nick is lying about getting better. He's trying to portray himself as getting over his addiction when in actuality he's stealing, I believe it's morphine drip from one of the other neighbors that is currently getting a morphine drip. Not too much with Alicia in this episode, although we do see how I think she comes off as a really good sister in this, and she's getting better with every episode. There are sisterly moments where she goes and she comforts Nick again. We saw that in the first episode too. Now Madison, when she finds out that Nick has been lying and has been stealing a morphine drip from one of the neighbors. I don't justify hitting your kids, but for a plot device, holy crap, it makes sense. I mean, you as a mother are worrying and worrying and worrying, and then all this shit goes down and people are dying, and Madison loses it because her son is just effing up again and finding a way to just get high. And I could see how, as a character, I could see how she snaps. Again, I don't approve anything like that in real life, but character development, wow. I don't blame her for snapping. I don't blame her for being mad at Eliza either, but I do. Eliza's trying to be a helpful person, and you can't blame someone for trying to be helpful. We as the audience know what's coming. We know the zombie apocalypse, but they see it as either a plague or a pandemic or something like that, some kind of virus. So Eliza is thinking like a health practitioner, and she's trying to help out as many people as possible. So naturally, she goes with the doctor to the hospital or whatever. We know that subtext for the military is doing something effed up, or maybe they're only treating military personnel. And was it you got Danielle Salazar, Ophelia Salazar, and the mother. I want to say Giselle. I feel bad. I don't remember her name. But I believe, that injury, they're just going to get rid of her, especially since they didn't let Daniel go and go with them. So yeah, I think Nick is gonna survive the military hospital, but finally Mama Salazar is. Um, let's see what else. So Travis, Travis has got he's being the community person, but he's now learning. He's learning more and more. He's got to listen to Nick. Christopher. He's got to listen to Christopher, and rightfully so. You're as a parent, you probably don't expect your kid to be smarter than you about something or to be aware of something than you. And lo and behold, Christopher is seeing things. He saw somebody using either Morse code or just using the light. My girlfriend and I actually speculated that while it might be survivors, maybe it was a survivor trapped in a room, but they got bars on the windows and they can't get out, and there's walkers in the other room and they're stuck. So they were trying to get help. So at the end, when we see the military shoot up the room, there's a big chance that they were saving somebody. But come on, we know the show. They killed whoever survived there. You know they did. We saw what Madison saw. Um, let's see what else. Um, so yeah, I mean, we saw a little bit of everybody in this episode, little bits and pieces. We got to see and get to know a little bit of the military. Ophelia friends one of the military, so of course we have to deal with that. Yeah, she might be using the guy to get medicine for her mom, so we might not see much more of that plot develop. Um, let's see, predictions for next week. I'm gonna predict that the military guy that likes Ophelia is going to actually, he might get a little too clingy and he might get aggressive. I hope he doesn't, but he might. That we're going to lose Mama Salazar at the hospital. At the hospital, both Eliza and Nick are going to have to try to find a way to escape the military. Because this was episode 4, and we only got 2 more episodes to go for the first season. Nice little warm-up season, so not too bad. But yeah, if if I can kind of feel it out, I predict that they're going to try to escape the military hospital, and they're all going to band together to try to escape. And so the end of the season is probably going to be them getting out of Dodge, getting out of their neighborhood there. If they do stay, I'll be surprised, but actually I will be interested. I'm definitely at this point. I'm coming back for season 2, most definitely. They would really have to F this up for me not to come back. Let's see. I think since we didn't get any walkers in this episode, I'm going to guess that by episode 5 and 6, it's going to build up even more. But I liked a prediction I saw online where they said, fear the Walking Dead. There's the fear of the Walking Dead. We might end up going through the show not seeing a whole lot of walkers, but we might end up seeing society itself broke down and how these folks are going to have to cope with it. We might spend a lot of this show with them fighting the military or fighting other groups, which The Walking Dead, Rick and Daryl and everybody did in 5 seasons of The Walking Dead with the governor and with other groups. So, yeah, shoot, I'm anxious for next episode already. So let's go ahead and end this video, keeping them under 15 minutes. So as a reminder, post all your comments and your theories and ideas down below. Let's keep it all civil. If you like watching my babblings about the show, go ahead and click subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. Try to give me a little bit of support there. If you can, keep an eye out for, I'm going to try a couple more shows that are coming out here. We're entering the fall season. So as soon as new shows start up, keep an eye out, and I will try to have those reviews for you here shortly, okay? Thanks everybody for watching the video, and have a good one, and hey, until the next adventure.